Well, welcome you back to this segment of the GMU agenda. Now, in another twist of events today, we shall be looking at data collection in the bid to enforce the transparency and accountability. And basically, we shall emphasize this in relation to the Uganda police, but in particular to one of the police posts that it must be in Tinda, if I'm not mistaken. Now, in studio with me, I'm joined by Mr. and ASP Ojok Moses. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
And Joan from SEMA. Now, just right about introducing Joan, I would want for our viewers to have a chance and understand what is SEMA, what is your role, what do you seek to do, what should we expect as Ugandans, and why the police?
Well, good morning, everyone. As SEMA, which I represent, we seek to talk to citizens and get their feedback on how they value services at different public offices. So we are an organization that deals entirely with collecting feedback from clients that visit these public offices in a bid to try and understand how they feel about the services, their satisfaction levels, where they're happy, where they're not happy, so that we can give this feedback back to the people concerned in these offices in a bid to improve the public service delivery system.
Okay. Now, just maybe in addition to that, how long has SEMA been in place? And when you, as you've told us your objectives and all this, how long have you been in place and how long have you been doing this that you say you've been doing?
Thank you. We have not been here for quite a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are about to make 1 year. We're about to make 1 year.
Okay. That is quite a time.
Yes.
That is quite a time.
And in this 1 year, we've had quite a number of achievements. We did a pilot phase in Kampala. We started at 3 stations.
Okay.
We are now at 8 stations, and it's been great. We have received a lot of positive feedback from both the people at the stations, the public servants, and also from the clients, and a lot of outside stakeholders who really like our work. Yeah.
Well, maybe now to find the joke there. How do you find this relationship with SEMA to start with, but also how was Ntinda Police Station receiving information prior to, before SEMA came on board?
Thank you so much. I'm ASP Ojok Moses. I'm the OC in Tinda Police Station. We started working with SEMA around April this year. And while before that, how we used to get information was through our neighborhood WhatsApp groups, where people would give feedback, sometimes positive and negative feedback, where I would react on. However, most people, when they have challenges, you find people running on Twitter. Like they would fail to have channels through which to complain. But of course, when SEMA came in, people had chances to. There was the button press. They would call SEMA direct and give them the information.
Okay, feedback about how police is treating and how handling particular cases.
Yes.
Now, how is it easy for a security organ to deal with one would call a private, much private organ? Don't we have issues of sensitive information we can share? What kind of information do they share, and how does this relationship work?
We rarely share police information with them, but however, they were cleared by the Directorate of Research to carry out this survey.
Okay, wonderful. Now, maybe just back to John. How would you collect data? How is this data collection done?
So at SEMA, we have 3 major modes of data collection. The first one is on-site interviews. We have a team of SEMA personnel, which we like to call volunteers, that are scheduled to be at these stations maybe twice or thrice a week. So they go to the stations, they have a small questionnaire of about 5 questions, and they usually talk to clients as they leave the office.
Yeah.
So you get prompt feedback the time the person is leaving the office and how they're feeling. So it's easier for you to understand that this is what the person is feeling, whether they're happy or not. So that's the first mode. The second mode, we have an ivory line, or a toll-free line, how we call it here in Uganda. The toll-free line, it's not paid for. So usually we also have it's on our website, and the volunteers also have cards that they hand out to people. Sometimes citizens are not comfortable maybe to, give this information when they're still at the office. So they are free to call back and give us the information, and we always get that information after they've called, and they leave their feedback on that line. The third mode is the data collection device, which we have here today. It's majorly represented by emojis, very easy to understand. We have 5 faces here, ranging from the happiest face to the saddest face. So these devices are at the stations where we are collecting this data or listening to clients. So aside from speaking to the on-site volunteers, the client is able to also rate their service satisfaction using this device. When you press a button, it will light, showing you that the feedback has been received, and it's prompt. The moment someone presses, the feedback is received.
You get the feedback at your offices?
Yes, please. Yeah, so after we have gathered all this feedback, we make what we call a monthly report. It's a 1-pager, it's easy to understand. We simply highlight what challenges clients faced at that month, at that particular station, and we also we usually recommend, like in 1 or 2 sentences, a solution on what the station can do.
Okay, so these are at the stations that you're partnering with.
Yes, please.
And do you mind naming these particular stations? There's Ntinda, at least that one I know now.
Yes, please. There is Ntinda Police Station.
Yes.
There is Ginger Road Police
Ginger
Station.
Road.
There is Wandegea Police Station.
Okay.
And there is Central Police Station. Then we have Chira Road Police Station.
Chira Road.
Yes.
Okay, so that means that for the clients who are visiting those particular areas, would access this.
Yes, please.
And depending on how they have been gotten the services or been treated for that matter, they would press any of the emojis.
Yes.
Now the red one means...
It's the saddest face. It means you're not entirely happy with
and
the
orange?
The orange
Fairly.
means it was bad, but not very
not the
bad.
worst.
Yes.
And this is yellow?
This is yellow. This means that it was okay. We survived.
Okay.
Yes.
And
this means good. The service
light
is
green,
good.
right? Yeah.
And then this means I was excited. I'm happy. They worked on me very well. I got what I wanted. Yeah.
Now, after Joanne getting this data, how do you make sense of it? Because most of the biggest challenges in data collection would be lies or false information. Some people have so much bias against police, and others love it so much. I find a joke will testify that some people will lie. You've had people who have come out to lie, others who have come out to tell so much exaggerated. How do you handle this?
Now, the beautiful thing about our data is that it is prompt. It's in the moment. So
the heat of the passion.
It's in the heat of the moment. If someone goes to a police station, for example, and they were reporting a stolen item and they got the item, or they will have come to say suspected
press
item.
the green.
So it's there. The person is actually feeling like, yes, I have been helped. And it's a different situation for you to go onto the streets and ask someone who visited the police station 2 years ago, and maybe they had a terrible experience, or their friend told them the police is terrible. So our data comes in at that time when the person is feeling exactly. If the person is very sad, you will get it from their comments, and if the person is very happy, you will still get it from their comment. So that is why we believe that with this kind of arrangement, someone is able to tell you what they're exactly feeling at that moment, and when the report comes out, you're portraying exactly what the people felt in that particular month, not after 1 year, not after 2 years, but in that particular month.
In the moment.
Yes. Okay.
Now back to a Fandeo joke there. Now, how is your relationship with SEMA? How are you finding working with the civilians, if one would call them?
SEMA has been good, because our relationship since we started it has really been so good, and all our officers appreciate the work SEMA does. Many times when their volunteers come to our station, they feel very free.
They are assisted.
And I think they love it more than any other station.
That's good to hear. But then one would ask, how open enough are your clients to give feedback, one, and how cooperative are your subjects, as perhaps no C for that matter, because we understand they pick data from the clients and the officers, if not mistaken.
Only the clients.
Only the clients. Yes, and maybe the question would be, according to you, are clients open enough to give this feedback?
I think clients are very open, simply because like she said, most times someone comes, like if he has reported stolen property and that is recovered, he feels excited. The person will press the green. And of course, most times also the volunteers, when a client is leaving the station, they follow the client and talk to him, him or her in person. Then another way is through the toll-free. There's no way you can influence someone when a call he or she is making.
And one would ask, how have you found this? Do you think it's a useful cause for the police, and perhaps the entire police force should adopt it?
It has helped us as Ntinda Police, and it's not a bad idea for others to adopt.
Okay, because in particular, if you don't mind telling our viewers, how, despite when you say it has helped us, what particular ways, a couple of things, 5 or 4, can you pick out and say, these have been for us, some things we can catch on and say, bravo, SEMA.
It has helped on our client relationship. Client relationship, as in, many times we get to know what they feel about us.
Okay.
And as a result of that, our customer care has improved at the station. Because many of our officers know if you handle someone poorly, at the end of the month, it is going to come out in the SEMA reports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the challenges with the work that police does, and most of the reports that we have had, have not been very positive about police and how they handle suspects and what. And sometimes we have had a couple of these cases. Are there limitations in what you seek to find as SEMA? Are your findings limited to operation or PR, or we look at case, what kind of case? What are the particular bits that you look out to carry data upon?
So as SEMA, of course, our major objective is to listen to the clients that are at these stations, not to go to the streets. So the major objective here is that you talk to the people, understand their problem, the problem with that station, and then you work entirely with that station to solve that problem. Because I may talk to someone who visited a station in Gulu, but that's not going to help Ntinda Police Station. So the why we go to the station and why we talk to these people is to seek the problems or the challenges or the compliments they have for that particular station. And then at the end of the day, we are going to give this feedback back to the officers and tell them, look here, Fande, this month has this kind of challenge, and how can we help it? How can we, do you want SEMA to come in and maybe we try to, is there any way you think we can help? Is there any way you can talk to your staff members in a meeting? Is there any way we can echo this out so that if maybe the officers are being rude or they're taking time to serve people, is there any way we can improve that? Yes.
Maybe this question now goes to the both of you, and maybe we shall start with Afando Joe. What are some of the basic challenges that you face while working with SEMA?
While working with SEMA, I think from the period we started working together, we haven't received much challenges. But however, I think at times when these volunteers follow up clients, some clients, like if someone has come and he doesn't feel helped, would maybe fail to refuse to disclose any information to the SEMA volunteers. Then another thing which could also be a challenge is this thing is only limited to daytime, so they don't interact with clients who come like in the night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And yet most of the time it's criminality. It's at night. Yeah. Yes, Joan, what are some of the challenges you've had when you're dealing with police per se?
Well, we've not really registered a lot of challenges. Maybe sometimes, there is transfers here and there with police. So when there are people working at a certain police station and then they're changed and then they're from a different place and then they find SEMA in the building, sometimes maybe it's hard to adopt to it. But we usually, but usually when we talk to them about it, we figure out a way of, trying to put them in line, and they understand what we're doing, and at the end of the day they're appreciative. You'll find, sometimes I can give you an example of like Wandigea Police. People from different departments like traffic, they're always approaching our volunteers and asking, so how am I doing this week? Are we okay? So how am I doing this month? So it's that interesting. When you go to his station, they're all anxious. See, did I perform well? Because on the reports we try to break them for. So I would not really say we've registered much challenge with the police. But with the clients, it can be a bit difficult. Like you said before, some people have a mindset that the police is not one of those interesting organizations that you should, deal with. But at least from the time we started, these days, when you talk to people, they try to tell you, you know, it's funny, but somehow things have changed here. You know, someone tells you, I'm very happy these days, people are a bit quick. Yeah, but otherwise, some people are not okay with talking to us.
Yeah.
Some people are not okay with pressing the machine because they feel it's going to record them or leave fingerprints. Yeah, those are some of the small nitty-gritty, but yeah.
How do you carry out this sensitization about all that we are talking about? Do you have a forum to sensitize people? Do you go out in communities? Do you wait at police stations? Do you use police officers? How do people get to know about SEMA and what they're offering? And perhaps later, the good. Because one of the challenges we have in Uganda is sensitization. People don't do things because they don't want, because they don't know. And how much have we done towards sensitization as SEMA in making sure that the people, the population, the beneficiaries of these programs are actually brought up to speed?
Yeah, so of course now we are in the .com era, so the first sensitization is on Twitter and on Facebook and social media. So we have our Twitter page at Talk to SEMA. We have our Facebook page, you can follow us. We have our website, it's active, you know, we always put our activities there. And aside from that, of course, we have, like now what we are doing here. Yes, we have had online newspapers write articles about us here and there. Yeah, usually we organize also like public events at our offices. They're located in Tinda. So we have like public events where we invite different stakeholders, citizens, you know, to just give them an insight of what we are doing and how we feel, and also to get knowledge from them, of course. And with the police stations and maybe the KCCA, we also work at KCCA offices. So with the offices where we are partnering with, we usually have like meetings. For example, if like there is a technical meeting happening like at KCCA Central, we go and attend the meeting, and that also gives us time to talk to the staff members there in case there are any improvements. So they get to know. And the moment you talk to those people, they appreciate, and you'll find them talking to the clients themselves. Like, guys, because like because we have Ntinda police here as a representative, so I can give it as an example. All the ladies that work, or the lady officers that work at the reception at Ntinda are accustomed to this device, and after they finish working on a client, they ask the client to rate the service. Yes. So that is how far we have gone with sensitization, and we hope to continue doing a little bit more of that because, you know, we want to spread our wings country-wide.
Wow, that's good to hear. Now, maybe just to conclude, where do you see SEMA working with police? I'll start with I found a joke there. Do you see SEMA working with police, or if you see SEMA working with police, what is the future story? Do you think this relationship is going to assist by far? And if it is going to do so, what exact things you think in the next future we should expect from police in relation to your relationship with SEMA?
I think if SEMA continues to work with police, number one is, since the officers already know there is a way within which they are being rated, it's going to improve on professionalism. Exactly. Because very well, you know, if a client comes, you need to handle the client well. It's going to also improve on the customer care at the different police stations, specifically ours. Our customer care has greatly improved. Okay. Because most of our officers know there is how clients give feedback on what? On our performance, on the services we give.
Okay, and John, where do you see yourself in 5 years with police?
In 5 years from now, we as SEMA will see ourselves at all the police stations and division offices countrywide. Yes, we are trying to work on that. Of course, we have expanded from 3 before to now, 8. So we are seeing ourselves at every station in the country, whether it's a small police post, whether it's the biggest division of police post. So we want to be everywhere in police. We want to be at other public offices, because we believe that the issue of feedback is important in every office. We have suggestion boxes. We have, write notices. People will go to Twitter, like you said, and throw tantrums. But feedback is key. So it does not have to just be police. It has to be all these other public offices that may need the services. We hope to be there one day in these 5 years, to help them with the client feedback and how they can improve their service delivery.
I want to ask one last question to my colleague Afande Ojok there. Does police react on this feedback?
Yes, we do.
Can it based on the feedback given by SEMA to act?
Mostly when we receive SEMA reports, like specifically at our police station, we have monthly meetings.
Okay.
And it is the SEMA report is one of the things we discuss in every monthly meeting. So we see where we have improved, the credit goes to us. But where we still have challenges, we try as much as possible to see that those challenges are worked on. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe lastly from you, Fande Ojoke, as closing remark to our viewers and of course to your people in Tinda. Anything you have to say to close this particular interview?
I want to encourage other people to accept and work with SEMA, because the feedback we get from SEMA has really helped us improve on service delivery. And if you want to make our policy a better one, then we really need to give feedback, whether positive or negative, because it helps us in improving
the service we offer to Ugandans. And Joanne, lastly from you and from SEMA.
Well, as at SEMA, we are happy to work with any public offices that is open to working with us. We would just majorly be in your office to help you improve your delivery, especially to the clients, because the clients are the boss. You know, in public offices, people don't usually take people who enter their offices as clients. Yeah, but they're clients and they're bosses, and they're here to get all the services from you. So we are open to working with any office that would want to work with us, and we are neutral. We are not biased. Like he can attest to it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, Joanne and Ojoke, for coming around. SEMA and the Uganda Police. We're glad that we are having this particular junction of service. Now, of course, you see transparency and rule of law is quite important. We must appreciate SEMA for all the efforts they're doing, and the Uganda Police for also being accommodative. In particular, at least in studio, we had the OC station, Tinda. Police station. It's a police station.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is it that we had for you from this particular segment of Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Now we'll take a short break and we'll be back.
My name is Pamela.
Following the amendment of the Excise Duty Act by the government of Uganda, the public is hereby informed that the mobile money tax has been amended. The tax of 0.5% will apply on cash withdrawals only. For example, tax on withdrawals of 100,000 shillings is 500 shillings. There will be no tax charged on the following transactions: sending money, receiving money, depositing money, and making payments. For more information or queries, please contact our customer care toll-free line 100 or visit our websites at airtel.co.ug, mtn.co.ug, and africell.ug. Do
you see yourself changing from the gospel and doing the other side?
Just in case you haven't been watching television, look who is on Chilling lately.
You want me to do it here?
Yes.
5, 6, 7.
From Kampala's top-ranking army officers, celebrities, musicians, athletes, politicians, to award-winning geniuses.
6 feet up. I mean, it all comes back to how you relate to them here.
Inspired by the overwhelming response from the fans across the country.
Hey sis, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Listen sweetheart, you're live on my show I'm with Bobby Wine, and he wants to say hi to you.
Hey Sarah, how you doing?
Chilling is set to come back with a bang.
Instruments: saxophone,
Guitar,
bass drum,
keyboard,
piano,
bass guitar.
The positive energy the show sends out to the world has made it admirable.
We are happy to receive you here in Iguru.
If you're looking for a great conversation with humor, come laugh with us.
It was the real deal Khashoggi de Magwan.
Remember, not every 30 minutes of TV are created equal. Book a seat now. We might even have a game or two for your indulgence.
Prostate cancer is the cancer that occurs in the prostate, a small walnut-shaped gland in men that produces the seminal fluid that nourishes and transports sperm. It is one of the commonest types of cancer among men, especially those aged 40 years and above. Statistics from the Uganda Cancer Institute show that 40 of 1,000 men develop prostate cancer every year, and only 46% of these survive at the end of 5 years. Many men across the country lose their lives because they pay very little attention to their cancer.